Hi there, Yannick speaking. I like podcasts so much that we've made 4 podcasts to help you run your own podcast using just your Joomla website. Most of the podcasts I listen to are technology and web development podcasts, as well, of course, as SEO oriented. So I figured it would be a good idea to share them here. And considering how many I follow, I'll be starting today with just SEO podcasts, and we'll get back soon with a similar post for tech and web development podcasts. So what's the problem with SEO? We all hear that SEO is constantly changing and that we need to adjust to all these changes always. But in fact, many things also stay exactly the same. New things appear every day, but very often they just don't matter that much, if at all. So what's true is that figuring out where to best put our efforts to improve our website rankings requires a lot of constant learning. And I've found 3 ways to do that, compatible with how I work and how we are organized. The first thing is to follow blogs, usually through RSS feeds. The second way is to follow people on Twitter. A lot of SEO people are sharing information on Twitter. And then listening to podcasts. Blogs and Twitter are also a topic for another day. But let's see why I found podcasts so useful. And the answer to that is that podcasts are an easy and efficient way to improve our Joomla SEO. Podcasts have really upped my game in recent years because they are easy to consume. You don't need to look at a screen. You can listen on many different occasions. Basically, you just need your phone. There are also many high qualities podcasts to learn from, especially in the SEO podcasts field. And the right podcasts, they distill in maybe 20 to 40 minutes actual SEO actionable items or deeper, more general topics. So you get everything inside a podcast. So what are my top SEO podcasts to listen to? Well, so while none are Joomla specific, except one, please listen to the end. The podcasts listed here explore topics that most Joomla website developers and owners should benefit from. Yes, you'll hear the word WordPress quite a few times, but please don't be detracted by that or afraid. SEO is still SEO, whatever the tool you're using. So these podcasts covers all aspects of SEO, and we are very used to looking for advice on technical SEO, which is what most for SEO users are looking for. But there is so much more to SEO than just technical SEO. You can work on content and do keywords research. You can work on reporting. You can work on outreach and backlinks, or how to obtain backlinks. Many podcasts will also treat paid search together with SEO. So you should not have any trouble finding these podcasts on your preferred podcast platform. Just search them by name. I have also linked to their website when possible in the accompanying blog post at weblog.com. So please refer to that for more details. Top of my list is Search with Candor. It's certainly one of my current preferred SEO podcasts. It's hosted by Jack Chambers-Ward, and there's a little bit of everything, never boring, and with many interesting guests on specific topics. It's not just SEO, but also SEM and pay-per-click reporting. It's rather in-depth content with episodes typically between 45 minutes and 1 hour. You may want to learn the SEO basics before jumping in, but most of it is actually quite accessible. You'll find in the blog post attached to this podcast episode the most recent episodes of each of the podcasts, so please refer to that. Okay, second in the list is something more basic. It's SEO 101. Per the name, it's a podcast that's dedicated to learning search engine optimization from the very beginning. It's all hosted by Ross Dunn and John Carcutt, and their plan is to provide helpful information without the technical details overload that usually comes with it. I find it really enjoyable for everyone. It covers all the bases and also any ongoing change. For instance, the last episode is on the impact of AI-generated content. So a very interesting podcast to listen to get started at least. Next one is called Search Off the Record, and that's the big one because it's the one podcast coming directly from the Google Search Relations team. While initially hosted by John Mueller, Gary Elias, and Martin Splitt, later joined by Lizzie Sussman, the podcast now often features guest specialists of the topic of the day. It's occasionally technical, but it's never really complex. It's really approachable. Pretty much all participants are Googlers, and while they don't reveal actual secrets, several episodes have provided very interesting and very useful information on how Google search works internally and how that can impact our day-to-day SEO work. For instance, to this day, like today, you definitely don't want to be only relying on JavaScript for your content, especially for links. I can tell you that. If you can only listen to a handful of podcasts, be sure to include that one. Recent episodes includes topics like Search Console Help Center and redirects, how they do handle redirects. Next up is the SEO Rant. It's hosted by Mordy Oberstein, which is who is the head of SEO branding at Wix, and he gets various guests to come on the show each week to tackle a specific subject. Episodes are usually between 20 and 30 minutes, rather short, focusing a lot more on content, keywords, and data than technical SEO. Obviously, in the recent times, he had the mandatory ChatGPT episode, so it's a very good one. Next up is the Recipe for SEO Success show. It's hosted by Kate Toon. It has episodes every 2 weeks, between 30 to 45 minutes usually, and it focuses on explaining the main pillars of SEO and their relative importance. Some episodes are specifically marked as newbie, so it's a good one to get started as well. But I also have more advanced topic. The standout here is the impressive list of guests from Google's John Mueller to recognized SEO specialists such as Cyrus Shefford, Joost Jono Alderson, Cindy Krumer, and Finchkin. Now we have another one, which is Search News You Can Use. It's an SEO podcast with Mary Haynes. Mary Haynes is a very well-known SEO specialist. The episodes on the show are from 20 to 40 minutes usually, and they are focused on understanding how search engine operates, tracking and understanding changes in Google algorithm updates. It's sometimes with guests, usually only with Mary speaking. It's technical and it's a bit more for audiences that are already familiar with SEO. Still extremely useful. Now we have SERPs Up. Wix is famous in the last few years for having vastly improved the SEO quality of websites generated with their platform. And this podcast is hosted by Wix people. Mordy Oberstein, we've already mentioned one of his other podcasts, and Crystal Carter. And it's a podcast that's meant to shed light on common SEO topics and SEO news. So it has very many guests. It's somewhat technical, but not that much, and it's an excellent learning source for the very basics of SEO. Examples of things that are discussed are how to pick the right SEO tool for you, and things like, do ranking factors matter for SEO? And last but not least, we have the only Joomla, the only podcast I could find and I know of that's entirely dedicated to Joomla. It's in Spanish, so there's that, and it's hosted by Andrea Gentil and Carlos Camara, who are pretty well known in the community. They've been running this podcast for several years. Last episode is number 138. It's not really dedicated to SEO, but many episodes are about it. And for instance, number 137 is about internal linking. There are regular episodes on Joomla accessibility as well, and it's an important topic as improved accessibility is often beneficial to SEO or related to improvement in SEO. So if Spanish is your language, make sure to listen to Andrea and Carlos. They are always up to date on both the technical and marketing aspects of Joomla. That's it for me. I hope that list will introduce you to new and valuable source of information. Please feel free to suggest your own preferred podcasts in the linked blog post comments, especially if you know of some which are dedicated to Joomla only. If you do so, please be kind to focus only on SEO podcasts, because I'll have another post on technology and web development related podcasts soon. So there will be more opportunities to share your own discoveries. Thanks for listening. I hope this was useful. Bye.